All right, welcome. Have you ever thought of math not just as a class, but as a game? A world where solving for X is less about homework and more like unlocking some kind of superpower? Well, that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to treat math like a game you can absolutely master. So let's dive in and level up those skills.
I mean, really think about it. Every single time you see an equation, it's just a puzzle. It's a mystery waiting for you. There's this hidden value, this secret number we call x, and you have all the clues you need to find it. So the real question is, are you ready to be the detective and crack the code? Okay, so before we can solve any puzzles, we've got to understand the game board, right? We need to know the rules and the pieces. So let's start with the absolute basics. What even is a linear equation? At its very core, an equation is all about balance. That's the key word. You've got two sides, what we call the left-hand side, or LHS for short, and the right-hand side, the RHS. And that equal sign, that's the balancing point in the middle, telling you that whatever's on the left has the exact same value as whatever's on the right. They're perfectly, totally equal. Now, we're not just solving any old equation today. We're focusing on a very specific type, a linear equation in one variable. I know that sounds super technical, right? But all it really means is two simple things. One, there's only one mystery to solve. Usually we call it x. And two, that x isn't squared or cubed or anything crazy. Its highest power is just 1. Nice and simple. Okay, and look at this. This makes it super clear. On the left, you see 2x plus 3 equals 11. The x there is just, well, x. Its power is 1. That's our game. That's a linear equation. But on the right, see that little 2 floating above the x? That x squared changes everything. That makes it nonlinear, which is a whole different level of the game. Today, we're sticking to that straight linear path. All right, you get the basics of the game now, so it's time to unlock your first, and honestly, your most important power-up. This is the one move, the one secret technique that's going to let you solve pretty much any linear equation that gets thrown at you. This right here, this is the golden rule. And it all goes back to that idea of a balanced scale. Imagine it. If you add 5 pounds to one side, what do you have to do to keep it from tipping over? You got to add 5 pounds to the other side too. This isn't just a nifty trick. It is like the bedrock of all algebra. Whatever you do to one side of that equal sign, you must do the exact same thing to the other side. That's how you keep it true. Okay, enough talk. Theory is one thing, but let's actually put this power up to the test. Here it is, our first challenge. 3x minus 4 equals 11. Remember, our main goal, our whole mission, is to get that x all by itself on one side of the equation. So our first move is to start clearing things away from our x. We've got that minus 4 hanging around. Well, what's the opposite of subtracting 4? It's adding 4. So using our golden rule, we add 4 to both sides. On the left, minus 4 and plus 4 cancel each other out. And on the right, 11 plus 4 gives us 15. The equation is still perfectly balanced. We're so close. Now we have 3x equals 15. That 3x just means 3 times x. So to undo that, we do the opposite of multiplying. We divide. We divide both sides by 3. On the left, that leaves us with just x. On the right, 15 divided by 3 is 5. And just like that, x equals 5. Level 1, complete. Boom. Okay, so you've got the golden rule down. That's the main power-up. But now let's learn some, pro moves, shortcuts that let you solve these puzzles faster and way more efficiently. It's time to level up your technique. This pro move is called transposing. And here's the secret. It's not a new rule. It's just a faster, cooler way of using the golden rule. Instead of thinking, okay, I'm going to add 4 to both sides, you just think, I'm going to move this minus 4 to the other side. And when it crosses the equal sign, it flips its sign and becomes a plus 4. It's the same logic, just way quicker. And look, you can see it right here, side by side. The old way, the golden rule. You're writing out plus 7 on both sides. Totally works. But with our pro move, transposing, you just mentally pick up that minus 7 and move it to the other side, where it becomes a plus 7. Same result, just half the work. It's a game changer. Okay, so what happens when the game throws a curveball and you've got x's on both sides of the equation? No sweat. We just use our new pro move to get organized. We'll gather all the x terms on one side and all the plain numbers on the other. So that 2x on the right, we'll transpose it to the left, where it becomes a minus 2x. That plus 7 on the left, transpose it to the right, where it becomes a minus 7. So you get 3x minus 2x on one side and 13 minus 7 on the other. That simplifies down instantly to x equals 6. See how fast that was? So let's just take a second to look at the awesome toolkit you've just built for yourself. You can handle the simple stuff, sure, but now you can also deal with fractions, with variables showing up on both sides, and you even have the key ideas for tackling word problems. Each one has a little trick, but they all come back to those same core ideas of balance and transposing. Okay, this is all cool, but you might be thinking, when am I ever going to use this? Fair question. So let's see how all this stuff applies in the real world. We're going to test out your new abilities with a few side quests, which, is just a cooler name for word problems. I know. Word problems can feel like the final boss battle for a lot of people, but they're not so bad if you have a strategy, a game plan. Just follow these 5 simple steps. Read it, figure out what the mystery number is and call it X. Translate the words into an equation, solve it just like we've been doing, and then, and this is important, state your final answer in a sentence. All right, hero, here's your side quest. There's a number out there, a mystery number. The only clue we have is that this number is exactly 5 more than whatever half of 20 is. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to find that number. Now this is the magic trick. This is where we translate from plain English into the language of math. You just go piece by piece. A number, well, that's our mystery, so we'll call it X. The word is, that's almost always our equal sign. 5 more than obviously means we're adding 5. And half of 20, that's just 1/2 times 20. And look at that. The confusing sentence just turned into a clean, simple equation that we know exactly what to do with. And from here, it's easy. We just solve what we see. First, what's half of 20? That's 10. So our equation now says x equals 10 plus 5. Well, 10 plus 5 is 15. The mystery number is 15. Side quest complete. See? That 5-step strategy makes it totally manageable. And that's really it. We've gone from the basic rules of the game to pro-level moves and even into real-world applications. You haven't just learned a few steps to follow. You've actually gained a new superpower for thinking logically and solving all kinds of problems. So, what exactly is in your new superpower toolkit? Well, you now have the ability to solve all of this stuff. Word problems about people's ages, puzzles with money or shapes, questions about fractions and percentages. You now have a tool that works for tons of real-life situations that are all, secretly, just linear equations waiting to be solved. Look, if you forget everything else we talked about, just remember this one thing. This is the big takeaway. The concept of balance is everything. Keep your equations fair, treat both sides exactly the same, and you will always, always find your way to the right answer. So seriously, go on with confidence. You've learned the rules, you've leveled up your skills, and you've proven you can solve the puzzles. When it comes to linear equations, you've basically beaten the game. You are now, officially, an equation king or queen. Nicely done.